It's the latest chapter in Queensland's polarising border closure. Despite zero community transmissions in New South Wales in the past 11 days, brain cancer patient Gary has been forced into hotel quarantine. He still needs urgent chemotherapy, so health officials told him to catch a taxi from the hotel.
We're okay, yeah? We're okay. Yeah.
I don't get that. I don't understand why. This is life and death. It's not a joke. It's not a person wanting to play football in another state, which apparently that's okay.
When the Brisbane Broncos wrestled their way through their final NRL match in Sydney last month, COVID-19 was still circulating in the community, but the Queensland Government allowed them to self-isolate at home upon return. Brain cancer patient Gary Ralph is not so lucky. Arriving on a flight from Sydney today, 6 days after surgery for an aggressive brain tumour, he and wife Wendy are whisked away for 14 days hotel quarantine.
Apparently there is exemptions available, but not for us. Apparently we don't qualify. I haven't been told why we don't qualify yet. Nobody's been able to tell me that.
This is Wendy speaking to a current affair in Sydney yesterday where there hasn't been any community transmission for 11 consecutive days.
If this had happened 3 months ago, maybe I wouldn't feel like I feel, because I understood, think borders needed to be tight, but we're not 3 months ago. We are now, where the cases are minimal. There is no justification whatsoever.
Wendy doesn't know how much longer she has left with Gary. His brain tumour is so aggressive, doctors in Brisbane said it was inoperable. Renowned surgeon Dr. Charlie Teo agreed to operate in Sydney.
He believed he could give us more time, and when we were talking time then, we were talking 12 to 18 months time. And for us, we wanted time.
Less than a month ago, Gary was as fit as 71-year-olds can get, exercising most days in the pool or on the golf course. But after his shock diagnosis, the surgery uncovered more tumours, requiring a more radical procedure that has taken away Gary's speech. He can't hold a pen and tries to communicate with great difficulty by writing letters on Wendy's hand.
T-A-U? Y. T-R-U-Y? Okay, it's all right, it's all right.
Gary's lost his ability to communicate. He has a full thinking brain. He just no longer can form words.
All they want is to complete their quarantine at home, just like the movie stars and footy players get to do. Dr. Teo wrote a letter of support describing the need for home quarantine as imperative.
Gary and Wendy absolutely cannot sit in a hotel room for 2 weeks. The sooner chemotherapy, radiotherapy starts, the better prognosis Gary will have, as he has a malignant brain tumour.
We just want to be back in our own home where we don't have the added stress of everything the government is putting in our way just to fight for my husband's life.
That fight is now playing out at a Brisbane hotel where Wendy and Gary arrived this afternoon. There is one more stunning slap in the face for Gary Ralph. Queensland Health will allow him to leave this hotel for his urgent chemotherapy treatment, but on one condition. He has to travel by taxi or Uber. The exemption clearly states he must wear a mask in the taxi or Uber when travelling to and from the hospital and must sit in the back seat, preferably with the windows open.
To me, it's more of a threat for us to be in a hotel. To me, everybody's safer if we're at home. Gary will recuperate better at home.
Queensland Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk officially kicked off her election campaign today, but in the past has repeatedly bucked past exemption decisions to her Chief Health Officer, Jeanette Young.
I was very clear. I do not make these decisions.
Queensland Health failed to answer a series of questions put to them about Gary's case, instead issuing this two-line statement.
We are unable to comment on individual cases. Of course, a hospital bed will always be available for anyone entering Queensland from a hotspot if their condition requires it.
Show compassion for people that are struggling. We just want to be treated as the movie stars, as the football players. We just want to be treated like decent human beings.
Wendy says every minute and every hour she spends with Gary now is precious as she continues this lonely fight for fairness from inside a hotel room.
I feel so isolated and alone doing this. But I will keep doing it with every breath I have. There's no way we're going to give up.
Come on, Premier Palaszczuk, we all acknowledge the need to keep Queenslanders safe, but you've given exemptions to movie stars and footballers because they bring money into Queensland. Sydney's no hotspot now, so surely you can overrule your dogged Chief Health Officer and let a sick man spend whatever time he has left at home. He's hardly going to sneak out to the pub, is he? And if you really think he's a health risk, why are you willing to expose a taxi or Uber driver rather than letting his wife drive him to chemo? Over to you.